This is my 32 channel live rig. I call it Dino Rack because, well, it's massive. This is my laptop. And here is Dino Rack running a Luna session, no Apollo needed. That's right, Luna is now native. For those of you that are clicking on this video because you want to check out Luna now that it can run with any interface, my name is Steve Kinney. I'm a producer, engineer, and content creator here in Nashville, Tennessee. Now this video happens to be part 10 in an ongoing series where we cover everything from front to back, side to side, all things UAD Luna. Now it takes a ton of time to produce these videos together for you guys, and so to keep this series running, it's really helpful and important to support the channel in some way. I'd love to be able to make a living full time from YouTube and solely create videos for you guys watching. But currently, I either have to take away time from real client work, time away from my family and my dog, or just wait until I have a random free day whenever that happens. And so, to support the channel, you can go to thestevekinney.com. I have UAD2 presets, UADX presets, Luna presets, which I should have more coming later this year. It's a great way to support the channel and get a little something back in return. Or you can schedule one-on-one time with me directly to help your production goals. And of course, like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff truly helps the channel. And I greatly appreciate you guys sticking with me through the intro there. All right, let's talk about these Luna updates. All right, so core audio mode basically completes Luna as a traditional DAW. You no longer need an Apollo. If you couldn't tell from the intro, you no longer need an Apollo to run Luna. With this new implementation, you can use any interface out there, whether it's your AirPods, whether it's your old interface from 2010 and old M audio, you name it. And it supports aggregate devices, so if you have multiple interfaces, you want to use all of them together, you can do that. Keep in mind this is in open beta mode, so your feedback is probably quite important to Universal Audio. Just make sure you're submitting feedback or crashes. To learn more about the open beta process, just go to Universal Audio's website. Now, let's say you are an Apollo user and you want to just check out this feature. How do you use it? Well, there's two ways to do it. So to set up core audio with Luna, all you do is from the main menu, you go to settings. Right here, you're going to want to be on the hardware tab in this page. And just right here, you can see I already have it enabled. It's just a drop-down menu under audio device. It lets you choose between Apollo or core audio mode. And you click core audio mode. And then from there, it allows you to enable different devices. By default, it's going to follow whatever your system settings are. Or what you could do is just go through and create an aggregate device, which would be, adding your interface plus maybe your Apollo. From there, what you do is you hit apply. Now from there, it also allows you to choose where your main outputs come from. So for me, my speakers are currently connected to my monitor outs on the Apollo, not the Tascam interface, which is set up in Dino Rack. But you can see Dino Rack does have outputs listed down here in addition to all of the Apollo outputs. So let's just say I had it sitting in a rack somewhere else with other speakers. I could, for whatever reason, if I wanted to, I could choose those as the main outputs. Pretty simple stuff here. And then of course you have Q outputs as well. Now there is this one really important feature here. It says record mute. If for whatever reason you are using like a MacBook and you use the MacBook's built-in speakers and built-in mics, you're going to want to turn that on so that if you input enable the microphone on the MacBook, it doesn't cause a feedback loop. Just really important to note. So the second way of changing out your core audio mode or your Apollo mode is actually from within the session itself. So I've got a session pulled up here, and just down in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the little audio device sub-menu here. You click that, and you can click on Apollo, and you can see it'll reload the session. And a reminder, it is in open beta, so if you see any glitches, you're probably going to want to report those. Again, open beta mode. The next thing we got to talk about is buffer size. Buffer size is almost like a necessary evil now that you've implemented core audio. And I don't know why I'd say necessary evil. It's really helpful. It basically just allows you to choose between a small buffer if you're doing tracking and then a larger buffer if you're doing mixing. Standard stuff, but important to have. So how do we access it? Let's dive in. All right, again, you go up here to the diamond, you go back to your settings, and it's included here for both the Apollo tracking mode. And then let's swap back over here to core audio. You can see the same thing. You've got a default, small, and then a large. That's where you're gonna get better performance when you're not in ARM mode. All right, import session data is a really cool feature. Obviously, it's in some other DAWs, but it's great to finally have it here in Luna. It's obviously highly useful for that situation when you've already got a great mix and now you're jumping onto the next track and you've got to basically recreate the wheel. Well, instead of manually doing it, you can just copy over settings. So super helpful. So here's how you do it. While you're in a session, you could just simply hit Option I, and that's going to bring up your dialog here to choose from whatever mixes you want to work with. Now, if you're not a shortcut kind of guy, you can go up here to File, Import Session, and it'll bring up the same dialog. And then from there, you just choose a previous session. From there, all you would do is just click on whatever version you have and click Import Session Data. Now it's going to load all of the tracks in that session and give you some options about it. So let's just say I want to import just the acoustic and just the acoustic verb, but I don't want the audio here, and I don't want to replace any existing audio, so I'm going to deselect that. I also don't really want to import the tape machine settings or the markers and tempo and time signature. Let's just literally import the raw track settings. Now I have the option now to either add it as a new track or I can match it to an existing one. And in this case, I'm just going to choose new track. And you can see here, popped up here in my list, they've loaded the plugins, all good. But they've kind of got some lines through them. This is just letting you know that if you want to confirm it and you do want to add those, you would just click Import at the top. And then you'll see it says importing. And then there you go, it's loaded up. All right, this next feature is pretty clever. It's automatic conversion between UAD2 and UAD-X plugins. Now, this feature is meant to be used with ARM mode so that when you ARM a track and you're in this Apollo accelerated real-time monitoring mode, you can automatically load up a DSP-enabled, zero latency version of the plugin, and then once you're done recording with that track, turn off input monitoring and it automatically switches over to the native-based version of the plugin. All right, so let's check out how it's done. So I've got this track here, acoustic mic, copy, and I've got this plugin pulled up, Hitsville, right? There's two ways that you can do this. The first way is just as your session's rolling, you can just click this little plus button and choose between UAD-X and UAD2. It's really straightforward. You just click it and it'll swap over. So keep an eye on this plugin. I'm going to turn on input monitoring and you'll be able to see that this plugin changes automatically. And there you go. It's now changed. Now, a super important thing to note is that you have to have a license of both plugins. Otherwise, you're going to get this pop-up that says start a 14-day demo. Now, I see that kind of experience being a super problematic one. I just think that they need to kind of make sure that that's a feature you can turn on and off. And it currently seems that with this release, you can't change that. So that's a little bit frustrating at times. And I guess the thought process is that you're probably not going to load a plugin for real-time monitoring that you don't have. So, I mean, I guess I could see where they might be coming from on that. But what happens if I have a subscription to Spark and they, put out a new plugin that I don't have the DSP-enabled version of, and I have that on my chain? Anyway, hopefully that gets some more attention from UA because I see this as being a really convenient thing. I just think the implementation might need a little bit more of a nuanced touch on the way it works, or just simply add a menu that says turn that feature on or turn that feature off. So that's about it for the big 4 updates. For more information on the bug fixes, you can go to Universal Audio's website and check the release notes in the downloads section of their website. Hey, let me know what you guys thought of these updates. I thought they were pretty cool myself. I'm kind of excited that I can use my dyno rack with Luna. It's pretty wild. And in case Universal Audio is watching, leave a comment below. Tell them what you want to see out of Luna next. And again, reminder, this is an ongoing series, so as Universal Audio pushes out updates, I'm going to be covering them, so subscribe to stay up to date. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you. Thanks so much for watching the video, guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.